The city admired Emily Carter as one of the youngest self-made billionaires in the country. She owned luxury hotels, technology companies, and charities that reached thousands of people. Newspapers called her the woman who could buy anything. Yet every evening, when the cameras disappeared and the boardroom meetings ended, Emily returned to the only person who truly mattered, her 8-year-old daughter, Lily. Lily had been blind since birth. Doctors around the world had examined her, but none could restore her sight. Emily spent millions searching for treatments, hoping that one day her daughter would see the sunrise, flowers, and her mother's face. Although Lily could not see, she possessed an extraordinary ability to sense people. She often told Emily, "Mom, I don't need eyes to know if someone is kind." Emily smiled whenever Lily said those words, but she secretly believed kindness alone could not protect her daughter. Wealth and security guards could. One warm Saturday afternoon, Emily decided to take Lily to a peaceful public park instead of another private estate. She wanted her daughter to experience laughter, birds singing, and children playing together. Bodyguards quietly surrounded them from a distance while Emily held Lily's hand as they walked along a winding path. "Can you hear the fountain?" Emily asked. Lily smiled brightly. "Yes. And there are children feeding birds near the water." Emily looked in surprise. Lily was exactly right. As they continued walking, Lily suddenly stopped. Her head tilted slightly, as if listening to something no one else could hear. Then a huge smile spread across her face. "Mom. What is it?" "Someone is here." Before Emily could ask another question, Lily gently pulled away from her mother's hand and began running across the grass. "Lily!" Emily shouted in panic. The bodyguards rushed forward, but Lily kept running with complete confidence, as though she knew exactly where she was going. Emily's heart nearly stopped. Her blind daughter was running straight toward a complete stranger sitting alone on a park bench. The man stood up instantly, carefully catching Lily before she could trip. Instead of fear, Lily wrapped her arms around him in a warm hug. "I found you," she whispered. The stranger looked completely confused. "I think you've mistaken me for someone else," he said softly. Lily shook her head. "No. Your heart feels safe." Emily finally reached them, breathing heavily. "I'm so sorry," she said. "She never does this." The man smiled kindly. "It's all right. She's perfectly safe." Emily studied him carefully. He wore faded jeans, an old baseball cap, and inexpensive sneakers. Beside him sat a little boy, about 6 years old, happily drawing pictures in a notebook. "I'm Daniel," the man said politely. "And this is my son, Ethan." Emily introduced herself, though Daniel showed no sign of recognizing her famous name. That surprised her. Almost everyone recognized Emily Carter. Daniel simply nodded politely and returned his attention to Lily, speaking gently enough not to frighten her. Lily laughed as Ethan described his drawings, and within minutes the two children were talking like old friends. Emily couldn't explain what had happened. For the first time in years, Lily seemed completely relaxed around someone they had never met. As the afternoon continued, Emily found herself wondering who Daniel really was, and why her daughter trusted him so completely. Emily couldn't stop thinking about Daniel after that afternoon in the park. Something about him didn't fit. He dressed like an ordinary working father, yet he carried himself with quiet confidence. He never tried to impress anyone, never asked who she was, and never seemed interested in her wealth. That alone made him different from almost everyone Emily had ever met. Over the next few weeks, Emily and Lily returned to the park several times. Almost every visit, Daniel was there with his 6-year-old son, Ethan. The children quickly became inseparable. Ethan patiently described the colors of the flowers, the shapes of clouds, and the games the other children were playing. Lily listened with excitement, painting beautiful pictures in her imagination. Watching them together warmed Emily's heart. One afternoon, While the children played nearby, Emily finally asked, "Daniel, what do you do for a living?" He smiled. "I work as a maintenance supervisor at a local community center." Emily nodded, sensing there was more to the story. "You seem unusually calm. Almost like you've been trained to stay calm." Daniel laughed softly. "I've had an interesting past." Before Emily could ask another question, he gently changed the subject. That mystery stayed with her. Curious, Emily asked one of her trusted investigators to quietly look into Daniel's background. She expected to discover military service or perhaps a security career. Instead, the report left her speechless. Daniel Brooks had once served as one of the most highly respected Navy SEAL operators in the country. He had participated in dangerous rescue missions, protected innocent lives, and received medals that remained classified. After his wife passed away from illness, he quietly resigned from the military to raise Ethan alone. He had never spoken publicly about his achievements. He never used his past to gain money or attention. Emily folded the report slowly. For the first time in years, she admired someone more than she admired success. Days later, the annual family festival filled the park with hundreds of visitors. Music echoed through the trees while children laughed and colorful balloons floated into the sky. Emily, Lily, Daniel, and Ethan spent the afternoon together. Everything seemed perfect. Then chaos erupted. A loud cracking sound came from the large temporary stage. One of the heavy lighting towers began tipping toward the crowd. People screamed and scattered in every direction. Parents grabbed their children. Within seconds, panic spread across the festival. Before anyone else reacted, Daniel moved. His calm expression instantly transformed into complete focus. He sprinted toward the collapsing structure, shouting clear instructions. "Everyone move left. Stay together. Don't run toward the exits." His powerful voice cut through the panic. Several frightened families followed him immediately. Seeing a little girl frozen beneath the falling equipment, Daniel lunged forward without hesitation. He pushed her safely into her father's arms just before the metal frame crashed to the ground. A second support beam began falling toward another group. Daniel grabbed a nearby rope, climbed part of the damaged structure with incredible speed, and pulled the beam away just enough for emergency workers to guide everyone to safety. Within minutes, firefighters and paramedics arrived. Miraculously, no one suffered serious injuries. People surrounded Daniel, thanking him with tears in their eyes. Someone asked, "How did you know exactly what to do?" Daniel simply smiled. "I've had some training." Emily stepped closer. "You saved dozens of lives." Daniel looked toward Ethan, who hugged Lily tightly. "I only did what anyone should do when others need help." Emily shook her head. "No," she said quietly. "Most people freeze. You didn't." For the first time, Daniel admitted the truth. "I served as a Navy SEAL for many years. But those days are behind me. My greatest mission now is being Ethan's father." Emily felt overwhelmed. Here stood a man who had risked everything for strangers yet chose a simple life without expecting applause. He had hidden extraordinary courage beneath ordinary clothes because love for his son mattered more than medals or recognition. Lily walked toward Daniel, smiling. "I knew you were brave." Daniel knelt beside her. "How?" She gently touched his hand. "Kind people always sound different." Emily's eyes filled with tears. She realized that while she had spent years building an empire, her daughter had been teaching her the greatest lesson of all: true character cannot be seen with the eyes. It is felt through compassion, humility, and sacrifice. Months later, Emily funded a new community center in Daniel's neighborhood, but only after making one promise, that his name would not appear on the building unless he agreed. Daniel smiled and finally accepted, on one condition. "The center isn't about me," he said. "It's for every child who needs hope." The sign outside simply read, Hope Community Center. Inside, children laughed, families gathered, and volunteers worked side by side. Lily and Ethan remained the best of friends, proving that the strongest connections are built not on wealth or appearance, but on trust and kindness. Emily often looked at the center with gratitude. She had once believed money could solve every problem. Now she knew that courage, humility, and unconditional love were treasures no fortune could ever buy. And whenever someone asked Lily how she had recognized a stranger in a crowded park, she would simply smile and say, "I couldn't see his face, but I saw his heart."